For Alex Eala after she requested a medical timeout and complained about a persistent lower back spasms during her semi-final match.
In your plans, first of all, how is your condition? Because one of the things that people saw very glaringly during that match in the semifinals was your fall, and of course you.
Exclusive. Alex Eala's heartbreaking post-surgery confession that left the tennis world in tears. Welcome back, tennis family, to Champions Tennisitics, your absolute #1 home for the biggest, most explosive, most emotional, and most unforgettable stories happening right now on the professional tennis tour. If you are brand new here, first of all, welcome to the family. And second of all, you picked one heck of a day to show up, because what we are covering today is not just another match recap or ranking update. This is a story that has stopped the entire tennis world dead in its tracks. This is the kind of story that reminds you why sports are so much more than just a game. So do yourself a favor right now. Get comfortable, maybe grab a glass of water, maybe grab a tissue, because we are about to take a deep dive into one of the most emotionally charged moments the WTA Tour has seen in recent memory. We are talking about our girl, the pride of the Philippines, the rising star who has been turning the entire tennis establishment upside down, the one and only Alexandra Eala. For several agonizing days before this story broke wide open, a heavy and suffocating silence had settled over Alex's entire camp. And when we say silence, we mean the kind of silence that is louder than any crowd at the Australian Open. The kind of silence that makes your stomach drop. Fans were absolutely glued to their phones, hitting refresh over and over again on every social media platform imaginable. Whispers were circulating in locker rooms from tour insiders who knew something was wrong, but weren't saying anything publicly. The media was in a complete and total frenzy, trying desperately to piece together what was happening behind those firmly closed doors. We all knew that Alex had been battling her body for a significant stretch of time now. Those of us who have been closely following her journey here on Champions Tennisitics knew better than anyone that the physical warning signs had been stacking up like a pile of unread mail. But nobody, absolutely nobody, was prepared for the magnitude of what was about to be revealed. And then, finally, mercifully, that deafening silence was shattered. Alex spoke out following a major surgical procedure, and the message she delivered to her global fan base was not a carefully crafted press release written by a PR team. It was not a clinical medical bulletin filled with jargon and cold facts. What it was something far more powerful and far more rare in the world of professional sports. It was raw. It was real. It was the kind of unfiltered human vulnerability that you almost never see from elite athletes who have been trained from childhood to project strength and invincibility at all times. And in that raw, honest space, Alexandra Eala reached out to millions of people around the world and said something so simple, so understated, and yet so devastatingly powerful that it has already gone viral in every corner of the internet. She wrote, and I need you to really hear these words. I'm still fighting. But this time, I need everyone beside me. Read that again. I'm still fighting. But this time, I need everyone beside me. Just sit with that for a second, because those two sentences contain more emotional depth than most people pack into a 1,000-word essay. On one hand, you have the defiant warrior. I'm still fighting. That is classic Alex Eala. That is the girl who refuses to surrender, who has clawed back from impossible situations on the court more times than we can count. But then comes that second sentence, and that is where the heart breaks just a little bit. But this time, I need everyone beside me.
You know, I've only dreamed of making tennis grow in the Philippines, and now I'm bringing a whole new audience to tennis all around the world.
And she's humble, and she works hard.
In those 8 words, a 20-year-old athlete who has spent the vast majority of her young life being the strong one, being the one who carries the hopes and dreams of an entire nation on her shoulders, is finally, bravely, asking for help. That is not weakness, ladies and gentlemen. That is one of the most courageous things a human being can do. Now, to truly understand why this moment carries so much weight, why the entire tennis community reacted the way it did, we need to go back and trace the physical journey that brought Alex Eala to this point. Because this surgery did not happen out of nowhere. The body has been sending distress signals for months, and Alex, being the absolute competitor that she is, kept answering those signals with the same stubborn, magnificent refusal to back down. The warning signs were there for all of us to see, And in hindsight, they tell a story of a young athlete who pushed herself to the absolute limit of human endurance in pursuit of greatness. Cast your mind back to the National Bank Open in Montreal last July. If you were watching that tournament, you will remember the moment that made fans around the world collectively hold their breath. Alex was out there on court against the formidable Marketa Vondrousova, and something was visibly, painfully wrong. Her shoulder was heavily taped. Her movements were labored in a way that was completely inconsistent with the fluid, explosive style of play we had come to expect from her. She was fighting through every single point with a grimace that told you everything you needed to know about the kind of pain she was managing in real time. Eventually, the damage was too significant, and she was forced to withdraw from the Cincinnati Open that followed. It was a heartbreaking sight. The stands were quiet with concern. Social media was flooded with messages from worried fans. But did Alex Eala use that as an excuse to step back and take it easy? Absolutely not. She doubled down, went back to the drawing board, threw herself into rehabilitation, and came back swinging harder than ever. Then came the ASB Classic in Auckland at the start of this year, and what we witnessed there was nothing short of breathtaking, though not entirely for the right reasons, at least in hindsight. Alex went toe-to-toe with China's Wang Xinyu in what turned out to be the longest, most grueling match of the entire tournament. Nearly 3 full hours of tennis. 3 hours of back and forth, momentum swings, incredible shot making, and pure, raw willpower. Alex was dealing with nagging, excruciating lower back spasms throughout the entire match. Think about that. Your lower back is in agony. You have been on court for hours, and you are down 4 games. Twice. And instead of folding, instead of accepting the situation and preserving your body, you dig deeper. You call for a medical timeout when you are trailing 3-0 in the deciding set. You get whatever treatment you can get in those precious minutes, and then you walk back out onto that court and keep fighting. Wang Xinyu herself, one of China's finest talents, came off that court and publicly called Alex an absolute fighter. That is the highest form of respect one competitor can pay another on the tennis circuit. The story continued at the WTA Philippine Women's Open, and this is where things got genuinely difficult to watch. Playing on home soil is supposed to be a dream. The Rizal Memorial Tennis Center was absolutely packed to the rafters. The energy was electric. The crowd was buzzing with the kind of passionate, hometown love that is unique to Filipino sports fans, who have a capacity for loyalty and enthusiasm that is genuinely unmatched anywhere in the world. The Eala effect was in full, glorious swing. Everyone expected a dominant performance, a statement victory, a homecoming fit for royalty. And for the first set, against Russia's Elena Kareva, that is exactly what they got. Alex was crisp, sharp, and in control. And then came the moment that silenced an entire stadium. In the middle of the second set, the unthinkable happened. Alex called for a medical timeout. The packed center court went absolutely deathly silent, thousands of people holding their collective breath. When she returned to the court moments later with a heavy bandage wrapped around her right thigh, you could have heard a pin drop. The tension was suffocating. After the match, Alex did what Alex always does. She downplayed it. She smiled. She spoke with trademark stoicism that the Filipinos absolutely love and admire in her. And she said, with that calm composure of hers, there was just a bit of discomfort, but it's nothing serious. Physical pain is definitely a part of an athlete's lifestyle. And we believed her, didn't we? We believed her because we wanted to. We believed her because she delivered those words with such conviction. We believed her because that is what you do when you love an athlete. You take their reassurances at face value because the alternative is too uncomfortable to sit with. We saw her at Indian Wells not long after, and the scene there was remarkable in its own right. Even just for her practice sessions, she was drawing massive crowds. People were jostling for position just to watch Alexandra Eala warm up. That is the level of star power she has cultivated on the WTA Tour in a relatively short period of time. She was navigating a genuinely tricky draw with intelligence and competitive fire. We saw her taking victories in Dubai, continuing to chase down the dream that has defined her young life. The scoreboard looked encouraging. The public face was composed and determined. But here is the brutal, uncomfortable truth about elite professional sport that we need to talk about honestly. Behind every polished press conference answer, behind every gracious post-match interview, behind every social media highlight reel, there is a human body that is being asked to perform at levels that are genuinely extraordinary. The WTA Tour is one of the most physically demanding competitive environments on planet Earth. The travel schedule alone would exhaust most professional athletes. Add to that the pressure of competing on hard courts, grass, and clay across multiple time zones, the relentless physical demand of serving at high speeds, running down balls, and hitting ground strokes with explosive force thousands of times per week, and you begin to understand why injuries are not just a possibility on the tour. They are practically an inevitability. The tour is an unforgiving machine. It does not pause for anyone. It does not offer compassion to youth or talent. It simply keeps rolling, and it is up to each athlete to figure out how to keep pace before their body finally reaches its absolute limit. For Alexandra Eala, that limit has now been reached. The surgery has happened, and the world of tennis is now holding its breath in a way that feels profoundly different from the nervous energy of a tight third set. This is the kind of breath holding you do when someone you care about is going through something serious and you feel helpless and you want to do something, anything, to help. Now, let's talk about what the recovery ahead actually looks like, because it is important that we are honest with fans about what Alex and her team are facing in the coming weeks and months. Rehabilitation from major surgery is not a straight line. It is not a neat, predictable process where every day is slightly better than the day before. It is a journey that involves significant physical pain during the initial healing phase. It involves physiotherapy sessions that test your mental fortitude just as much as your physical resilience. There will be days where progress feels agonizingly slow, where the body refuses to respond the way you need it to, where the mountain of work ahead feels impossibly high. There will be moments of doubt, moments of frustration, moments where the gap between where you are and where you want to be, back on a tennis court, competing at the highest level, feels like it might be too wide to bridge. And then there is the mental dimension of this recovery, which in many ways is harder than the physical component. When you are an elite athlete and your body sidelines you, you are robbed of the one thing that gives structure and meaning to your daily existence. But here is what we also know, and here is what we want to pour into this video with every ounce of conviction we have. You never, ever, under any circumstances, count out Alexandra Eala. This is a young woman who has already demonstrated a capacity for resilience that most athletes twice her age have never come close to matching. She grew up training at the Rafael Nadal Academy, and if there is one thing that institution is legendary for producing, it is players who are mentally bulletproof. Players who have been forged in the fire of relentless competition and come out the other side as warriors. Players who understand, at a bone-deep level, that setbacks are not the end of the story. They are simply a chapter in a much longer and more complex narrative. Think about what Alex has already overcome in her career to reach the position she is in today. The countless hours of sacrifice, the years spent away from home, grinding through the junior circuit, developing her game far from the familiar comfort of the Philippines. The pressure of carrying an entire nation's hopes on her young shoulders. The challenge of making the transition from junior prodigy, where she was a Grand Slam champion, to senior tour competitor, a transition that breaks many talented players who never managed to find their footing at the elite level. Alex not only made that transition, she did it with style, climbing to a world ranking of 31 and establishing herself as one of the most exciting young players on the entire circuit. She did not get there by accident. She got there through a combination of extraordinary natural talent, world-class coaching, and an iron will that you simply cannot teach. And now, the tennis world is getting a glimpse of the human being behind the racket. When Alex wrote that she needs everyone beside her, she cracked open a door that athletes usually keep firmly shut. She invited her fans, her global family, into a vulnerable, honest space that most sporting figures never have the courage to enter publicly. And the response from that global family has been absolutely extraordinary. The internet has erupted in an outpouring of love and solidarity that is genuinely remarkable to witness. From Manila to Madrid, from New York to Melbourne, from Tokyo to Cape Town, fans are flooding every conceivable social media platform with messages of support, encouragement, and prayer. Hashtags dedicated to Alex's recovery are trending across multiple countries. The tennis community, players, coaches, journalists, and fans alike, has rallied around her with a collective warmth that cuts right to the heart. Fellow players on the WTA Tour are sending their well wishes publicly and privately, because every single one of them understands on a visceral level that what happened to Alex could happen to any of them at any time. Professional athletes exist in a constant negotiation with their own physical limits, and when one of their number is forced to stop and face the consequences of pushing those limits too far, it serves as a sobering reminder for everyone in the locker room. There is a profound sense of solidarity within the tennis community at moments like these, and it is beautiful to see that solidarity on full display right now. There is also a broader story here that deserves to be told, because Eala is not just an individual athlete. She is a symbol. She represents something enormously significant, not just for the Philippines, but for the entire Asian tennis community and for the global women's game. She is proof that talent can emerge from anywhere, that the geography of a player's birth should place no ceiling on their ambitions, and that with the right combination of ability, coaching, and sheer determination, a player from Southeast Asia can not only compete at the very highest level of the sport, she can thrive there. She can draw crowds at Indian Wells. She can win matches in Dubai. She can carry herself with the poise and confidence of a player who belongs absolutely, without question, at the elite level. The younger generation of Filipino tennis players, little kids right now who are watching Alex's journey with wide, wondering eyes, they need her to come back. Not just for her own sake, but for theirs. Because representation matters in sport. Because when a child sees someone who looks like them, who comes from where they come from, competing on the biggest stages in the world, it expands their sense of what is possible for their own lives in a way that cannot be quantified. Eala, whether she fully realizes it or not, is building a legacy that extends far beyond her own career statistics. She is laying the foundation for a future in which Philippine tennis is taken seriously on the world stage as a matter of course rather than as a pleasant surprise. And that is why this recovery matters so much. That is why the entire tennis community, from the grandstands of the grandest stadiums to the humblest public courts where kids are picking up rackets for the first time, is invested in Eala's return. We are not just waiting for a tennis player to come back from injury. We are waiting for a symbol to return. We are waiting for proof that the human spirit, when properly fueled by passion and purpose and the love of millions, can overcome even the most daunting physical setbacks. On the broader landscape of the WTA Tour, life continues at its relentless pace, and that in itself serves as motivation for Alex's recovery. The rankings are always in flux. New stars are always emerging. Veterans are always looking to reclaim former glories. The competition has never been fiercer, the talent pool never deeper. When Alex returns, and we have absolutely no doubt that she will return, she will be stepping back into a tour that has continued evolving in her absence. But she will return with something that cannot be simulated or shortcut, the perspective that comes from having faced a serious health challenge and come through it. That kind of experience changes an athlete. It deepens their relationship with the sport. It clarifies what truly matters. And historically, when talented players come back from significant injuries with that kind of mental clarity and renewed purpose, they often produce some of the best tennis of their entire careers. So here is where we land today, tennis family. We land in a place of profound respect for Eala's courage in speaking openly about her situation. We land in a place of hope, grounded in everything we know about her character and her capabilities. We land in a place of collective commitment to standing beside her, exactly as she asked us to do, through every challenging, painstaking day of her recovery journey. She gave us a message of vulnerability wrapped in determination, and the only appropriate response is to meet her there with the kind of unwavering support that reminds her she is never, ever alone in this. The road back will be long. It will be hard. There will be moments of doubt and difficulty that we as fans will never fully see or understand. But at the end of that road, we believe with everything we have that Eala will be back. She will walk back onto a tennis court somewhere in the world. She will bounce a ball a few times before a serve. She will look across the net at an opponent. And the crowd, wherever that crowd is, will rise to welcome her back. And it is going to be one of the most beautiful moments this sport has seen in a very long time. We want to hear from you right now, because that is exactly what Alex asked for. the feeling of her global family surrounding her with love and positivity. Drop your messages of support in the comments section below this video. Share your favorite Eala moments. Tell us what her journey means to you personally. Let's absolutely flood this comment section with so much warmth and encouragement that she feels every single word of it from wherever she is in her recovery right now. Let her know that Champions Tennisitics and every single one of our viewers has her back, unconditionally, for as long as it takes. If this video moved you, if this story matters to you, then please hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it makes an enormous difference in helping us reach more tennis fans around the world who need to hear about Alex's incredible journey. Smash that subscribe button if you have not already joined the Champions Tennisitics family, because we are covering every single development in this story and every other major story shaking the tennis world right now. And ring that notification bell so that you are the very first to know every time we drop a new video, because on this channel, we move fast and we never miss a beat. Until next time, keep loving this beautiful, brutal, magnificent game. Keep supporting our players through their highest highs and their most difficult lows. And remember, the best stories in tennis are never just about tennis. They are about the human spirit. They are about people like Eala, who get knocked down and find a reason every single time to get back up. We will see you on the next one, Champions Tennisitics family. Stay strong, stay passionate, and never stop believing in the fighters.
Let us pray for Eala after she requested a medical timeout and complained about a persistent lower back spasms during her semi-final match against.
In the world of professional tennis, momentum is everything. One good run can launch a career. One strong match can inspire a nation.